Let's be honest, there's no guidebook when it comes to relationships. So we end up having to stumble through life trying to figure things out for ourselves. What if there was a podcast that found the answers for you, that provided insight to build a successful relationship and ultimately find the companionship you've always hoped for? Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we answer the questions most people are afraid to ask when it comes to lessons in life and love. It's time to master this thing called life together with your hosts, John and Ashley.
And welcome back to the Girls Ask Guys show. This is your show where we answer your questions about love, life, relationships, and everything else in between.
I like that intro.
Yeah. And we do have a question that comes in, and this is kind of a special question because this was sent directly to me. Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. You guys always remember to send in questions, especially if it's directly to John, because I'll say thanks for the question. John will be like, hey guys, we got a question. No, but seriously, whenever you send a question in, it is so awesome to us. It lets us know that you're listening. It lets us know that you are intent on getting these answers that we are intent on giving you. And it's really exciting to see those kind of emails.
Yeah, because we are all about helping you become unstuck from wherever you are in your relationship life.
That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, does this guy like me? Does this girl like me? Am I in love?
Right.
I mean, those are questions that people have every single day. And if you can't figure out how to get beyond that, then it just becomes this endless cycle of why should I even try?
Yeah, exactly. And it gets defeating. And there's another thing you guys need to remember. There's no question that's too simple. That's why we have a long and a short form format. If it's simple enough that we can answer it in 10 minutes and you need clarification, you can just email us and say, hey guys, thanks for what you're doing, but can I get a little more clarification? But if it's super complicated, today's show, we've got a multi-paragraph question. It's a really good topic, but we make sure to get really in-depth. So the more in-depth you get depends on which show you go on to. If you need a lot of, if you need that intense answer, make sure you just type us a nice paragraph. Be succinct, but be descriptive. You don't have to send us 10 pages. You can send us literally 3 paragraphs and just be succinct and descriptive, and we'll get to it. If it's something that's simple, like, hey, Ashley and John, I met this person. I think they're hot. I'm into them. What do you think my opening line should be? We met at a Star Wars convention. We'll sit there and literally spend 10 minutes coming up with really funny Star Wars lines for you. But nothing is too small. Nothing is too great. And this is what we're here to do for you.
Yeah. And if you really need something really, really in-depth, hey, just contact us. We will set you up on a discovery call, and we will then set you up to find out exactly what steps you need to take in order to get that relationship actually started. With that, let's get on to this question so that we're not burning too much time.
Yeah.
So this one came in, and it is a question from this person that I'm actually talking to. That's why I said it was sent directly to me. And I've already agreed I'm not going to out her or anything else like that. Okay, so here's the question. Now, Ashley already said it's a multi-paragraph question, but we're going to break this thing down.
Very much.
The core of the question is love a transactional affair, or is it selfless?
This is fun. This is a fun question. There's so many answers.
Yes. And she continues on with, because I feel like people see it as transactional. I didn't do the dishes because you didn't give me sex. Instead of, I did the dishes because it's my responsibility because I want to make this house our home.
I like this. And I'll tell you, we're going to stop right there because it's the end of the first paragraph. I like this question because it brings up several questions about what type of relationship do you want to be in? And are you clear that you're in either a transactional or a selfless relationship? And I think we should go on and define those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, to me, a transactional relationship, at least based on this, and not looking at a transactional as one of those where you're going to be a sugar baby or sugar daddy or something like that. I mean, this is actually, you're in a relationship but it's more one-sided. I will do this if you do this for me, and vice versa. Kind of like the example that she gives. I didn't do the dishes because you didn't give me sex. Or I'm not going to do this until I get this.
Right.
So the relationship isn't defined.
Mm-hmm.
And when you define a relationship, kind of like what we have done, is you're going to do something because you want to do it. It's nice for the other person. So you're giving without expecting anything back, but for all intent and purposes, good karma out, good karma back.
Okay. I like that. I agree. When it comes to like you're in a real or not real, because transactional relationships are just as valid as non-transactional. And it comes down to, like you said, it's not defined. And I think for most people, ideally, they don't want a transactional long-term affair that isn't based on like the sugar daddy or the trophy wife relationship.
Right.
So yeah, like I think this is huge when it comes to miscommunication. I think it's
almost like settling.
Right. It's kind of also, to me, it teeters on a little bit of like mild abuse. Like if you don't do this, you're not going to get laid. Like it's not like, I guess abuse isn't the word.
Well, it is kind of abusive because you're not going to you're playing mental games. It's more like mental abuse.
Exactly. So you're playing a mental game of, I didn't do the dishes because you didn't sleep with me last night. Like, number one, okay, I don't remember me eating alone. You know what I mean? And like, and I think some of these things are very simple. And I think these are things that are very simple that get relationships distracted from purposes. Like, to me, if the dishes need to be done, I'm going to do the fucking dishes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count how, and I think that's and it's true. People are like this, and it's very unfortunate because it becomes very tit for tat.
Right. Yeah. And it's, it really goes into, this is such a deep topic.
It is.
But I like it because it brings in so much of what we try to help people define.
Exactly.
And if you haven't defined the relationship, like, what is it? Okay, I know where I stand in this relationship. Where do you stand? I think we mentioned this a couple episodes back. And they're like, well, I like where I'm at. I just kind of want to be friends. And that's okay. But if I know where I'm at, but I'm not going to ask the question, so I have no idea where they are at. Now you're playing that cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you really are.
Yeah, and the relationship can't move forward. So you're doing all of this stuff for them on a selfless basis, but they really only want to use you for arm candy, or you have that friends with benefits. So they're only using you for sex. And now now you're working on a selfless basis. They are working on a selfish basis.
Yeah, and that's where things get really fucked up, completely fucked up. And what happens is sometimes, like, I think some people work in the selfless world where they hold out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they hold out for the concept that if I keep doing this and I keep doing that, they're eventually going to... No, listen, that person has already probably made it up in their mind. And I'm not saying people don't change, but people rarely fucking change to that degree. So if they know that they're going to keep getting, whatever it is you provide out of you, they're going to keep using it. And if they know that sex is the tool, so let's say that this person's like, we have the world's greatest sex in the world, and this person keeps doing the dishes, I'm going to get laid. You know what I mean? And then the one time you don't do the dishes, you don't get laid. You finally realize you're in like this unconscious transactional relationship, and that is just exhausting.
Yeah. And I've seen this happen in marriages where sex is used as a weapon.
Yeah, sex and money.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just really such a toxic type of relationship to be in. So
Stop doing the dishes, everyone.
Yeah. And to me, I mean, just to answer this first paragraph, to me, being in actual love and knowing that you are in love and it's not just a crush, it's not just an infatuation. And that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake is it's a crush that they're mistaking as actual love, or it's an infatuation that they're mistaking for actual love. Actual love is not a transactional type relationship
at all. You do the dishes because the dishes need to be done. It's not like people, I think a lot of people can confuse love with keeping score. So it's, I did the dishes today, you do them tomorrow, and obviously it's good to work out a system where it's like, listen, if I have to work 3 days in a row, can you please do the dishes, and vice versa.
Well, that's a defined relationship.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people do these it's not uncommon way of thinking. It's, I do this, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, sort of kind of deal. And so I think a lot of people are miscommunicating that. And it becomes...
the relationship has just kind of evolved into this undefined thing. And one person feels like they're giving more than they are receiving because the relationship is not defined.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Like the concept of transactional love or selfless love really comes down to people under communicating and overdoing. So you're going to keep, so you feel like, oh, I'm in this relationship where if I don't do the dishes, I'm not going to get laid. Instead of saying that, instead of, coming forth and saying, at this point in our relationship, it feels like if I don't do certain things, you won't reciprocate love in certain ways, or you won't reciprocate your feelings.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're constantly walking on eggshells trying to keep the other person happy.
Right, exactly. And the person sometimes, and I will say this, it happens sometimes where when things get into such a distinct flow that they're not even thinking that way. It might just be unconscious for them either. Like, oh, they're doing the dishes, they might want to do it tonight. You know what I mean? Like, and instead of, like I said, instead of communicating, you just keep doing. And that builds resentments that once that resentment comes out,
it blows
a storm.
Up. And I mean, that's why you see a lot of the breakups happen, or you see a lot of the divorces happen. I mean, even with in an undefined relationship. And it's a common question that I keep seeing over and over and over again. My girlfriend is looking at putting up a, what is that channel that's out there now where people are posting their pictures and people are paying for it. Or my boyfriend is watching porn all the time. And I don't understand why. Well, it's because you have an undefined relationship. There's something missing that they desire that they are not receiving from you. And you've never talked about it. And when you do try to talk about it and it's just fantasy. It's just this, just that. No, there's something there that they are not receiving.
Something keeping wrong. And it may be like an addictive thing. It may be something that you need to seek treatment for. You know what I mean? Like it probably, usually when it comes to porn and things like that, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you and most of the things to do with them.
Or it could be that they're constantly flirting with other people.
That's true too. So you have to really, instead of letting it escalate to the point where you feel that you're in some sort of transactional relationship, the minute, and I don't mean this with any exaggeration, as soon as you start to feel like you're being taken advantage of, you need to talk about it. And I don't mean scream and yell and just say, hey, listen, I'll be honest, it feels like if I don't do certain things, you won't do certain things. It feels like the only way I can get you to do this is if I can do this. How can we change that?
Right.
And the reason you're bringing it up is literally because it's your resentment, and it's okay for you to bring that up. Now, if they flip the fuck out on you, that's another episode.
That's a totally different episode right there.
Right.
And the reason that I like this question so much is because it's much deeper than a lot of the other types of questions that we get.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of moving forward with this next paragraph, she says, if people live by the second example, which is the selfless part, it's my responsibility because I want to make this house our home. So if people live by the second part and didn't see love as a way of a rewards program, people would be much happier with each other. And as a result, both people in the relationship would be more giving and understanding towards one another.
Absolutely.
And
there's no argument on that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the relationship that we have. We've already had this discussion about what I see and what she sees. Now, I've already made this totally clear to her, and it's something that I've repeated several times, is that I'm totally into her. Okay, there's I'm not even joking.
I'm just episode for you.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody knows that I have these 14 traits. Actually, I've added to it. It's now 15. I had to add to it an additional one, which is the forgiveness part. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yes. They have to be forgiving because I'm not perfect. I will screw the fuck up. Well, yeah, everybody says I'm too good to be true.
Mr. Perfect admitting he's not perfect. How much more perfect can you get, John?
Yeah. That's a whole different podcast there. I am going to screw up every now and then, so there needs to be a forgiveness. And nobody that I meet is going to be perfect. There's going to be things that they're going to screw up on.
Yeah.
We have to be able to forgive each other and forgive each other in a way that is selfless. And
honest and actually forgiving.
Yes, and actually forgiving it, not holding a resentment for 10, 15 years and bring it back up at the next argument.
Good God, you didn't forget? I'm sorry I got drunk at the carnival. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But actual true love, and like I mentioned in a podcast or in an episode a couple weeks ago, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, that I have a check system where I look at the relationship that I'm in and I'm going through and I'm like, okay, is this love or is it just curiosity? Am I infatuated? So I want to make sure that if I tell somebody I'm in love with you, I can actually go back and I can go, this is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. And not just sit there and go, yeah, I think so.
Right.
I mean, think so. That could be a crush. It could be an infatuation. But going back to the original part that I started with, everybody knows I have these now 15 traits. Yeah, there's like 13 that she hits on.
13 out of 15 ain't bad, girl. I can't wait to meet you. I'm going to see if you have all 13 of them prepared. I have a test for you. I'm just kidding. No, that's great. And that's kind of what it comes down to is when it comes down to your traits and it comes down to literally the second example of it's my responsibility because I want to make this your home or our home. The reason that you have this list of traits is because that's the person you want to share a home with. Or maybe, like it's the person you want to be with. And if that person is only in this and not only in it for the, what you give them, but what they can get out of you, then it's fucking pointless. Like that is such a sad way. And I think the reason a lot of people fall into that transactional relationship is because as people, we're trained on this reward system. I mean, when you think about schools, you think about your job, you think about just about anything. There's a reward system involved. And so for our little flabby human brains, it only makes sense that our relationships are based on rewards as well. But the problem is life should not be based on reward system. What is rewarding is knowing that you can walk into the house and, whoever decides to do the dishes does the fucking dishes.
Yeah.
I can't get off that because, dishes are annoying. Dishes are probably
annoying. Cleaning up the living room, vacuuming.
Yes.
Doing the laundry. I mean, these little menial tasks that need to be done.
Far too often.
Yes. And even not the menial tasks, it could be you're married and, hey, could you go pick up the kids?
Right.
And it's not in your normal routine and, oops, shit, fuck, I got to go pick the kids up. I'm an hour late. And then all of a sudden, now you're getting jumped on because you forgot to pick up the kids. Why did I get a phone call at work?
Well, They didn't walk. Yeah, and it's that kind of thing where it's like, I literally forgot, my bad, I'm picking them up now. And obviously, if you forget to pick up your kids every day, we need to have a different conversation, probably with like CPS or something. But like, if you literally, if it's out of your routine and you're an hour late or you're caught in traffic, and if you have someone there who's able to understand that mistakes get made, dishes get done, all of those things, it's these menial tasks of like, do I have to wait for you to do it?
Yeah.
Do I have to offer you something for you to do it? Or can you just fucking do it? Because you know what? It needs to be done. And can you do it without complaining? And can I do the same thing for you? If I'm at home on my day off and I see the dishes need to be done, am I going to do them? And vice versa.
Yeah. Or who's going to cook dinner? Or can we have something other than pizza? I mean, it's these little tiny things that can really become hugely annoying for somebody else. And if you're not being completely honest with somebody, like I do a lot of cooking. Last night I made chicken parmesan from scratch, and it's just me. There was nobody else here. It's just me.
Right.
But I do a lot of cooking. But every now and then, I'm too tired. I have a lazy day.
Get some pizza. Like, yes, absolutely.
But if I tell somebody, this is who I am, and I'm being honest because I know who I am, and I do a lot of cooking. But then they come over, and then it's like, we get into a relationship and we decide to move in together, or we decide to get married, or whatever the situation is. And 99% of what I'm doing is throw it in the microwave, reheat it kind of stuff. Okay. Those are red flags. And now they're like, what the fuck? I thought this is what I was getting into, and this is what I'm getting. Now you've got that transactional relationship starting.
Right. Exactly. And I think the best way to avoid it is to never get to that level. And I mean, literally, it's just, do you see things that need to be done? Do them. Now, you can also, this is another way to avoid it, ask for help. In the beginning of your relationship, before you guys or when you guys move in together, whatever, start doing those things together. Saturday mornings, wake up, you guys both are cleaning. You guys are both doing what needs to be done. You do these chores, they do this chore. It doesn't matter. But as long as you start doing these things together, and then it'll be like, hey, do you want to do the dishes? Sure, why not? Can you do this? Sure, why not? But if you never get into that transactional mode, especially if you don't plan on being in a transactional relationship, because I do think transactional relationships exist, and I think there are healthy ones, and I think that's fine.
Those would be more of your short term.
Yeah, they could be short.
Yeah.
No, I've seen some people who've been married forever, and what it is, and they know what it is, and they're okay with it. And the reason is because they don't want anything more.
Oh, well, they've defined it.
Right. They don't want a deep, meaningful connection. They say, are you going to look hot on a red carpet? Are you going to look hot at this? Yep. Cool. Are you going to buy me a Benz? Yep. Okay. And that's all they want. And it may sound sad to some people, but if that's what, listen, honestly, if I could get away with just buying someone a Benz and they're going to cook and clean and I don't have to put all this emotional toll into it, I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not opposed to it.
But
I really am.
But you've defined that relationship.
Right. It's defined. It's understood.
But I think the step before that is knowing who you are and being authentic. You are going to be authentic with that person. And that's the crux of the thing that I have, where I'm too good. And yes, I'm not dropping that. But I've had several conversations over this, and the reason that I am seen as being too good to be true is because I'm very upfront. This is what I like about you. This is where I would like to go. Is that where you want to go? And I'm being genuine. I'm being authentic. And I know who I am. I have myself defined to a T. And that's why that whole thing threw me off, because I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. But I'm being genuine. I'm not changing for anybody. And I'm like, this is who I am. This is what I want. Do you want the same thing?
Yeah.
And
that's
a lot of people don't do that. They don't
know how.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
You weren't taught that. And it's so unfortunate because, as a kid, you're saying you're going to go to college, you're going to get married, you're going to have a wife, you're going to have kids, or you're going to have a husband, you're going to have kids. No one ever teaches you, like, real self-inventory. No one ever teaches you how the fuck to know if that's what you want. You are just expected.
Yeah, because this is what we do at our seminars. And this is a question that I've asked of audiences. I'll point at a single person and go, who are you? Well, I'm a mechanic. No, that's what you do.
Right.
I mean, people define themselves by their job or their career or even a hobby. I mean, what do you do? Oh, it's a cosplay thing. No, that's what you do. That's
right.
not
who are
who
you
you
as a
are.
person? What do
Yeah.
you think? You know, and it comes down to literally, who are you? And you can say, and just start with your name. Who are you? I'm Ashley. Who is Ashley? Ashley is this, this, and this. Why?
Right. Because those are my core traits.
Exactly. And it comes down to breaking down exactly who you are. And then and I'm a big fan of writing things down. You guys know that. I say, if you're going to do that, you write it down and you just take it from your name and you just build a little tree of who you are. And then at the end, you figure out who is the best person for me. Now, don't write like John Stamos or Tori Spelling or something like that. Because
no, then you're just comparing.
Right. The best person for you is someone who complements this, who counteracts that, who understands this, who is willing to learn about that.
Yeah.
And that is the person for you.
Yeah. Think about if your best friend, the person who knows you the best, was to set you up on a blind date. How would they describe you to that person?
And ask them.
And that's like the beginning of defining who you are, so that when you enter into a relationship, it doesn't become transactional unless a transactional is what you want. And as the relationship develops, it is true love, and it becomes a selfless affair. It's
Absolutely.
not, you are doing something because
you want
to make the other person happy, and that person elevates you. They enhance your life rather than, this is good.
Right, because you're okay, or you feel like you have to, or you don't want to let it go, or you feel like this is your last chance. It's not your last chance. I don't care if you're listening to this and you're 75 years old. There's how many billion people are? 7? A little less now, but there's at least 6 billion people on the earth. It is never your last chance. It is never your last chance. And you evolve as a human being. I am not the same person I was when I was 16.
No.
And I probably won't be the same person I am now at 35. As a human being, you evolve. So every so often, you want to go back and you want to figure out who you are. And if the person you're with still compliments you, they do all of those things you're looking for, that's amazing. But if they're not, then you want to take those steps to either A, correct it, or B, exit.
You are going to evolve. You're going to learn new things. Certain things in your life will cause you to change. And if you learn from those and you don't let those hold you back, because one of the sayings that I kind of live by is, if I'm constantly concentrated on the past, then I want to go into depression, because too many bad things have happened to me in the past. But if I'm constantly looking at the future, all that's going to do is cause me anxiety. I have no control over what's going to happen. Like, I want to go into a relationship or a long-term relationship, but if I'm constantly thinking about that, I don't know if that person's going to choose me.
Right. Live in the
it's not up to me. All I can do is put myself out there and go, this is who I am. This is what I want. Do you want the same thing? They go, no.
Or
well,
yes.
Shit.
Yes is a possibility too.
Yes is a possibility too. And that's great, because that's what I want. That's my goal. That I want that long-term relationship. I want that deep connection. And hopefully they want the same thing with me, but it's not up to me.
Nope. And it has nothing to do with you. And we cannot stress that enough. And I know we've probably said that every single episode, but it's true. I think I know we see this. One of the biggest problems is when something doesn't work out, the first thing someone does is blame themselves. And you can't do that. It is okay if the person does not reciprocate, they are not interested. It is perfectly okay if it doesn't even work out. That is okay. What is not okay is you thinking it's you. Some things just don't. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It might be you sometimes.
It could be. It could be that you're putting something out there that is, you're doing it too, either it's off-putting or you're doing it too soon.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing I see mainly with guys is they sit down with this girl and they start a conversation, and within the first 5 minutes, they're going, well, I do this, I make this much money, I've got this kind of car. I mean, they're listing off a list of trophies.
They're not even traits. Exactly. They're not even traits. It's not
they're not even traits. They're
I'm
just
honest.
Yeah. I mean, they're just listing off trophies. I mean, things they've done in their past. I've done a lot of shit in my past, just as a small list. I'm an author. I've written books. I've been interviewed on national television. I've worked in Hollywood on scripts. I've been on Hollywood sets. I've met movie stars. Big fucking deal. Okay. That's in the past.
Yep.
It's what I did. It's something that I have done. Who cares?
Really?
Is it really going to benefit? Yeah. Is it really going to benefit this relationship? No.
It if you want a transactional relationship, if you are on seeking arrangements right now and you are looking for some woman who is just going to tickle your pickle and all she wants is a laptop in return, that is the exact way to start a conversation.
Yeah. I make $5 million a year.
Right. If you, however, are looking for something meaningful, then you need to have meaningful conversations, because at the end of the day, if you make $5 million or $5, if a person loves you, they're going to continue to love you and help you elevate to where you're making $50 million or even $50,000. So don't list off a bunch of trophies and then wonder why someone's treating you like a trophy. That doesn't mean you have to get super deep into it and kumbaya it the whole time. Have fun, enjoy yourself, show that you're more than just what you offer, quote unquote, what you offer physically. Show that you're someone, you're a person with substance and someone who is awesome in thinking and, other good traits.
Like, one of the traits that I look for is intelligence. I mean, how much more intelligent do we have to get other than this question right here? I mean, holy cow. I read this question. I was like, damn, okay. I mean, this is not a typical question that we get in. I mean, this is deep.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's thinking outside the box. And so many people are trapped inside the box. Does he like me? Okay. What have they done that makes you think that they might like you? What brought up this question?
Right.
Not that we won't answer those questions, because some people are genuinely confused.
It's hard. It's hard
to define, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for, boom, it's like it slaps you in the face. You're like, this person likes me. I just need to ask the question.
You can feel it. I'm telling you guys, you can feel it. If you know what you're looking for, if your intent is correct, when that person comes into your life, you can feel it.
Right.
You get those little jitteries in your stomach. It's a very nice feeling. I enjoy it.
And when you know that, and if you know that there's some kind of attraction there, then you can start you can start going deeper, and you start feeling that connection. I mean, it's intense when you know you have a connection with somebody, especially a deep connection.
Yeah.
You can really feel it, and it's magical.
It is. It's magical. It's really life-changing too, and it's almost as if, and some people,
I get hungry for it. You want more. Yeah, it's like a drug.
You want to do things for this person, and not only that, not only do you want to do things to and for this person, but you just want that person to be having a good day, no matter what. And I mean, as you guys know, I've been in a pretty on and off long-term thing. I don't even know what to call it at this point. But it's magical and it's wonderful, and it's probably the best thing either of us have ever been in our lives. And we talk about it all the time, and it's like,
wow, I can't believe this is happening.
Like, what did either of us do? Like, because we were both pretty toxic people in a past life, and so to see this even remotely take shape into some sort of relationship is just like, it's incredible. And when you find that person, which is what we want to do for you, when you find that person, you're going to write back to us and be like, you're right. And we're going to be like, we know.
We know.
We know. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we continue to try and do. That's why I say no answer, no question is too dumb, because relationships are complicated from the beginning right up until forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's constant, and that's why we go a step beyond what a lot of other companies do, is because we don't want to just show you how to get the guy or how to get the girl. That's really on a surface level, that's easy.
Right.
I can go to work tonight and I can walk around the casino floor and it's like, I wonder who they are. I can strike up a conversation and I can almost guarantee within 15 minutes, I can have their phone number, their contact information, and a date.
Mm-hmm.
Not kidding. It's that simple. You just have to know the correct steps. Now, sustaining that relationship and making it go deep and really getting to know the person, that's a little bit more complex.
That's complex. It's not, sometimes it's not fun. Like getting to know someone is wonderful, but sometimes it's challenging because you have to reveal parts of yourself that you're like
you have
afraid
to gain that
talk
trust.
About. Yeah, it's gaining trust makes me sweat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a very sweaty topic.
And sometimes you lay it all on the line. And the person that this question came from, I've laid it all on the line several times. I mean, I was like, damn, if I send this, they're gone.
I do it every night.
Yeah.
I've been with the same person for a year and a half. Every night I still put it all out on the line. Number one, I'm dramatic. But also, number two, and when I say that, I don't mean like constantly like, hey, we don't have to do that. But I mean just the way I feel. And I do it because I like to express myself. I like the person I'm with to know that I care about them and I love them and all
exactly.
these things. So like laying it out on the line once you've done it the first time.
If they don't disappear after the first time.
Right.
Yeah. Now, yeah, you could screw up and they're like, oh shit, yeah, this is too much. Because you revealed something too early.
Got weird real quick.
Yeah, it got real weird real quick. I'm very careful about stating my position and also reiterating, look, I know we're not going here, but this is a question I have. And just reminding not only them, but also reminding myself, this goes beyond the boundaries of our defined relationship. But I'm curious. I want to know, what about this? And I still get a message back. And they're still willing to talk to me.
Wow.
And that's how you build a sustained relationship. That's how you're going to make something that is going to last longer than 2, 3, 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the crux of this question is, do you want something that is selfless and is going to last for a lifetime or a potential lifetime? Or do you just want something that is going to be short term?
Yeah.
Now, if you want a short term relationship, that's fine. I mean, I know plenty of people. I used to go for short-term relationships a lot, but that was back in the day, and I was toxic.
Yeah.
I made no bones about it. Yeah, I made no bones about it. It's on a previous show, and the girls that I was going out with, they felt used. Mm-hmm. That wasn't my intent. I didn't know any better.
Now he's too good to be true, ladies. Do you see?
Yes.
Do you see the power of learning about yourself? And I mean that. I'm not even joking. The power of doing the full transformation of who you are and who you want to be.
Defining yourself.
Because, you go from this toxic individual who's just out for whatever they can get from the world. You become this person who's now giving to the world. You're not just taking. People love you. Yeah. You love people. It just becomes it's so nice. It's so freeing. It's so wonderful to be able to not be toxic. I think that should be everybody's goal for at least this year.
Yeah. I mean, if you want something that is long-term, something that's going to last, you really need to know who you are. And once you know who you are, then you can actually sit there and go, these are the traits I need somebody else to have, to elevate me, to make me better, to make me go beyond. And so they're going to enhance your life. You're going to share with them your experiences and your journey, and it's going to be so much fun because they want to be there. They've chosen you for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's where you're at and you're trying to figure out, is this the person I want to be with?
Yeah.
If they are the one, and you can go through and you can analyze really the wrong word, but if you can actually know that, yes, I am in love with this person, and combine that with everything else, oh my gosh, there is not a price big enough that you can put on that.
It's very true. It's very true. Well said. I agree.
So, is love a transactional affair? No.
Not if you're doing it right.
Not if you're doing it right. Not if you have that deep-seated connection and really all you want to do is just share your life with them.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Now, if you want something transactional, you need to define the relationship.
Exactly.
Actually, in both situations, you need to define the relationship. Because if they don't know that you actually want more, all it's going to do is frustrate you. And then you're doing the selfless part and they're doing the selfish. I mean, both of you need to be on the same page.
Yeah, that's it. I like that.
It shouldn't be a what can I get, and it should be more of what can I give, which is really the last part of this.
Yeah, we totally answered the last part. We didn't even read it. And I like questions like that where it's and that's why we say be descriptive but succinct, because when you're succinct enough that we can fit it all into one show, we don't have to read 10 pages. We're more eager to answer, number one. But number two, we can kind of just flow through the question.
Yeah. And it's really, the whole thing is between a relationship is it's not just a self-discovery of you. It's more of a self-discovery of you and us.
Yeah.
Those are the types of relationships that I go for. And I mean, if it doesn't work out with another person, I can at least tell them this is why
it didn't work out.
It's not going to work out. Because I can sit there and I can go, these are the traits that I really need. And sometimes, actually, the vast majority of the time, we just end up being friends.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's why it's so great, because worst case scenario, you make a really good friend.
Yeah. And somebody that I can actually go back to and say, hey, I'm having problems with this. Why am I too good to be true? And they can go down and list everything. I'm still not going to let that go.
You can't. I wouldn't. If someone told me I was perfect, I would say it. I wouldn't get. It could be Satan himself telling me I'm perfect, and I'd be like, you know what? I'll fucking take it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're just sitting there like,
Compliment to compliment. I love it. Soak it up. I would.
It's really an interesting problem to happen. And I wish everybody could have it. Because if everybody could have it, we wouldn't be in business. We wouldn't have a show to do. I mean, the world would be such a great place to live in, rather than all these monkeys out there leading other monkeys because they went through some beginner level course and think that now they've got it all figured out.
Brilliant. They're brilliant.
But there you go. Is love a transactional affair? Not true love. No.
Not true. Don't forget, guys, always like, rate, share, subscribe. Make sure, especially leaving us comments. We love comments. And just make sure that you're sharing everything. Keep a lookout. Thanks so much. I mean, we cannot thank you enough for your continued supporting of our show and, all of our little endeavors that we do. And as we grow this year, you'll see it's going to be way more intense. But like I said, thank you so much. Never feel like you can't write us a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question here. There might be a roastable question, but not a dumb one.
Yeah, I mean, superpowers episode.
Yeah, it's rough. We were going through a rough patch in our show. No, but I mean, if you write in that's like, why are women so dumb? I'm definitely going to make sure we put that up.
Yeah. But,
can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have like a really, truly huge problematic situation, don't feel we're not receptive to that. We will set up something and we will help you through it.
Now, if it's an emergency, always reach out to the important emergency services. But always reach out to us. We will make sure to get back to you. We kind of are. Me and John are both protectors in a way, so we like to protect you guys from things.
Yeah. We don't. Yeah, I mean, if you think you're being manipulated, hey, I used to be a master manipulator.
Me too.
I'm not even kidding. I used to be a master manipulator. I can point you in the direction of
exactly
they are manipulating you.
Absolutely, exactly, and exactly how, and probably their next 3 steps. We might even get you to beat them at their game, depending on what's happening. But we've taken life paths, so I can't wait to do that show. It's gonna be fun. Maybe we should do that for a 10-minute Tuesday.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fun. But yeah, always like, rate, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell your mom, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we will talk to you on the next one.
That's all for this episode of the Girls Ask Guys show, where all of us learn to master this thing called life together. For more answers to your questions on life and love, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single episode. And head to girlsaskguyshow.com to submit your questions for a future episode or apply to be a guest on the show. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time, right here on the Girls Ask Guys show.